Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. Justin here. Don here. Owen here. Nancy,
Here.
AJ here. All members are present. I'll take a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve our agenda today.
I'll second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose, nay. Next on the agenda is tourism director report.
Real quick, just one thing following last week's meeting. The application on the website for lodgers tax dollars for events, the RFP that we put out for groups, organizations and others that want to put on events, that application has been revised on the website. The council wanted it done months ago. I got around to it 2 days ago, so that's been changed. That's all I can do.
So ours are on old forms.
Yeah. Throw hers out, it's on an old form.
Yeah, we're gonna need this to be redone. Thanks, Greg. We'll move on to old business. The first item of old business, a discussion approval of Habla Tamale Labor Day event. Are you here to represent the,
Or to answer questions or represent, yes.
come on up to the podium and announce yourself?
Okay, I am the president CEO of the Angel Fire Chamber of Commerce. And this is our event. We had it before for a couple of years. It was real successful. We've had people asking us to bring it back, so we're resurrecting it this year. And we would like funding from Lodgers Tax.
I know that, what were the years that you did the event? Because there was a little confusion on the last meeting.
2015 and 2017. 2018 was the last year that that was the last year, so 15, 17, and 18.
So you did 3 years.
Yes.
Okay.
And then why did y'all, stop?
That year, the administration decided to pull Lodgers Tax from all events and use it for something else.
Okay.
And we didn't have the funding to do as much advertising as we needed to.
And would you do a 1 day or a 2 day event?
It's a 1 day
1
event.
day.
The hope of it is, and we're gonna do 1 day to begin with this year again, we've talked about it. With that, we'll name a champion this year, which is New Mexico. Then we'd like to come back next year with a 2 day. When we first started looking at putting Habla Tamale together, the reason we even had it, we were looking for something different to bring in. And I started doing researches on different festivals from all over the United States. Their tamale cook-off contest, and I think I might have even put this in your information, in California, in Alabama, in Georgia, and West Virginia, but there weren't any in New Mexico. So we decided, well, we're the ones that speak Habla Tamale, speak tamales, and that's where the name came from. We speak tamale, which is Habla Tamale. And when you say it, you're also supposed to add the. And then you get the whole full effect. And so we started doing it with the thoughts in mind that we would do a second day. Once we got established as New Mexico Tamale Cook-Off Festival. And invite all the other states winners to come and do a national day on the second one. So once we get our winner this year, we're gonna start contacting to have a 2 day next year, start talking smack to those winners and letting them know that New Mexico is the tamale capital. So we think it can come, turn into a full 2 day affair.
What has been your response so far?
Oh, gosh. I put the event up just Monday. When, you know, we've been working with the venue and wanted to make sure we had everything, permits, et cetera, on that. Within the first hour, there were like 69 responses.
Wow.
And that was, you know, if you watch things, that's pretty much, it's been shared. I don't know how many times all over. Yeah, everybody has asked for us to bring it back. It's a fun day. I don't know if anybody, were you there, John?
I don't think so. I mean, I was here during that time.
Yeah.
I didn't attend it, I don't believe.
Yeah, it was a great fun. It's just a fun event. You know, it's like, we have the tamale contestants, that's the big deal. It's free to get in, you pay $2 or you pay $5 for 5 tasting tickets. So with that, you also get a People's Choice Award or ticket. So you go to the different contestants, they have to provide tastings. We give them little cups, it's not a big tasting. And we also give them a stipend to help pay for the ingredients that are going in their tamales, because they're gonna give them away. And so people taste the tamales, they choose who they want to buy tamales from, and then they can do a People's Choice. We have 5 judges that we have runners assigned to each contestant. So when the judges are ready to judge this category, the runners go get their tamales that are going in for the judging. And so there's prizes for, I think, 4 different categories, 4 or 5 different categories. Actually, I brought an application form too, if you wanted to see them, and I think it says it on there. But for each contestant, they win a cash prize and a plaque and bragging rights that say that they've won. We've been trying to get Wendy Hale to come back, because to defend her title, and got on Facebook today and we're razzing her. She's in Cancun, so. Anyway, there's cook-off, then there, is a tamale eating contest, which is how many tamales you can eat in 3 minutes. It's pretty gross to watch, but the last year we had it, a guy came and brought all his family from New Jersey, because he's one of those professional eaters, you know? And so we know that it brings heads into beds, and they came for the weekend for, we're gonna contact him too again. But we think once we move into the second day and maybe, have a bigger tamale eating contest the second day and get a hold of the national programs that do the eating contest. So it has the ability to really turn into maybe even a 3-day festival somewhere in the future.
What is your criteria for success? What would you say?
What do you mean
That makes,
criteria?
well, what is it? What are you gonna say? Okay, this was really successful. The numbers of.
The numbers is how we call it successful, yes.
Or was it not 18 that you had? I don't have the notes in front of me, but
The first year we had 1,200.
was it the first year?
Mhm. I told the cooks that year, because it was new, that we thought that there would be probably, prepare for 250.
Right.
And we sold 1,200 tickets the first year.
Do you think that hurt the subsequent years?
No, we
So
had
did you
more,
15 through 18, or did you skip 16?
we skipped 16. There was not lodger's tax available that year either. Yeah. No, we sold more tickets each year.
Okay,
We did. Mhm. And we had people with clipboards going through, volunteers that would go through the crowds and ask where they were from. We keep up with the criteria as much as possible. So yeah, numbers. Mhm.
Mr. Chairman,
that 1,200 number that you had the first year, that wasn't your highest, your 18 number was higher than that?
Yes.
So let's say you did 14 or whatever, 100, 12 or 1,400, I mean,
We did 1,900 the last year.
okay, 1,900. So that obviously sounds pretty successful
Yeah.
to me. And with anticipation, you're obviously hoping to draw more. How do we go from 18 to 24 and feel comfortable we're gonna get another 1,900 people?
You never know that.
Yeah.
I mean, we put an awful lot of money into advertising,
Yeah,
but it's like any other event. It's like anything you sell in your store. You never know what's gonna sell or how many people are gonna come. you just anticipate that you can get in.
The trend was going in the right direction for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, and starting over, I don't know.
it may go back to the 1,200, but if we had 1,400 people, I think that still would be, I think, would you deem that as success?
Mhm.
And then something to build on?
In my opinion, 250 people coming into town is a success.
Yeah.
You know,
could
so
get-
if
I
you've
mean,
got anything over
sure.
that, because we're a destination place.
Yeah,
So they
and we don't
have
have
to be.
1,000 people here.
Mhm.
So if you had 1,900 people there, they're coming from somewhere else, a lot of them.
Yeah,
No mathematician.
Yeah. Well,
well, and it even says in there, we
you can
know,
do that kind of thing.
when I summarize, there's a lot of people who come, from this northern New Mexico
Sure.
area that we may not get heads in beds. But it still brings in, they're gonna tell somebody else and they're gonna tell somebody else, because the whole idea of all of our events is to bring people into town, to make them
Yeah,
aware.
They're
of
gonna
what
spend
we're
money when
doing.
they come to town.
Mhm. Yes, at least on gas.
Yeah,
Greg, did you want to interject something?
Yeah, our goal from the tourism office would be to promote this as part of a slate of Labor Day events. To make it look like we have things going on at Labor Day, cool summer nights, obla tamale, farmers market. Try to make it more of a rounded weekend, so we can sell some lodging packages and get some tourists here.
And the Obla Jamali would be on Saturday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it kind of bookend the farmer's market, cool summer nights.
And this year, actually, since the food carts are there, we're not bringing in extra food vendors. So that way, the 3 food trucks that are there will be inside the festival and hopefully make money. I know that worked out really good for them July 4th. So I think that we'd like, hopefully it'll work out good for them for this one too.
So if you didn't want tamales, you'd have alternatives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we did have other food vendors there before, but this year we won't take extra.
How
food
many
vendors.
tamale vendors did you have, competitors?
4 the last time.
And then, what was that to high water mark also?
We had 5 one year, but 4 was the most that we've had. It's really strange. You'd think there'd be more. But they sell a lot of tamales because
Are any of those committed already?
we have 2 committed
2
already.
committed out of the 4.
Mhm. Well, it's not the
It's
same
not the
ones.
same people.
Mm-mm.
But you remember who they were, so you can reach.
Oh, yeah, we've already reached out to them. That's why I said we've been trying to talk Wendy Hale into coming. But I don't think she can get off work is the whole bottom line, but yeah. She opted for Cancun. And yeah, one of the ladies, there's a lady in Santa Fe that won, she won 2 years in a row and we've reached out to her. I haven't heard back from her yet. So, yeah.
Great. Does anybody else have any questions? I entertain a motion. Probably similar to the motion
Yeah, I make a motion that we fund the Obla tamale.
and
Well, that's what we decided on.
then, is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed. All right, it passes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, I'm assuming you're there,
Yeah.
is discussion,
It has to.
discussion approval of artist studio deal.
Oh,
This one, I'll do a little intro on. This is also something that's happened in the past that Joe has put on with the artist group. And it's something I would like to try to combine with what we've discussed as that fall color event. So I've worked with Cody over at the country club to try to get some of his wine people, host a wine event and try to build it as a tour weekend, tour the galleries and see the colors, that kind of thing. So I'll let Joe take over now with the specifics.
and I forgot to introduce you to Alicia. She's actually our vice chair, incoming chair on the chamber board and also runs one of our banks here. And this is Jackie Benford Bell, who sits on the Northern New Mexico Art Up group. So they came and I should have introduced you again. I apologize. Okay. Chairman board. I'm Joe Vixen and I actually chair this event. I'm a member of Art Up Northern New Mexico. and the studio art tour, as members, we agree to chair an event or take an event, and the studio tour has been mine since the first. We put it on now for 5 years. It's been 7 years, but 2 of those years were COVID. And so we did not have a studio tour, the 2020 or 2021.
The road one.
Yeah, it was a rogue one, but that wasn't sponsored by Northern New Mexico, RDOT. So what, and I don't know, you may be aware of RDOT or of the studio tour. It happens the last Saturday and Sunday, or the last Saturday of every September. And it took us 5 years to get on the state map so that we could do a studio tour that was incorporated with all the other ones in the state. We're unique in New Mexico that we do what's called home studio tours. They don't really do them in a lot of other states. So we needed to be in on a weekend that could be permanent, and that's one of their requirements. And so we are permanent on that every year. It's like balloons is always on the Father's Day weekend. The studio tour is always the last Saturday of September, followed by the Sunday. And the reason we say that is because sometimes that Sunday is in October. This year, it's the 28th and 29th. Our estimated attendance is anywhere from 300 to 500 plus. And I did put in your information, the same thing each year, the amount of people that attend. So what it is, it's a self-guided tour. You pick up these maps and brochures that I gave you copies of, and they will tell you exactly where the artist's studio is, if they're in a business, and you can see what type of art it is. So actually, if you were to go to all the locations, it is a 2-day tour. And it is a 2-day tour, but if, to stay over and go to all the locations, but you can pick out which ones you want to go to. So how we keep up with this for lodgers tax purposes, every artist at every location has a big sign-in sheets. And the people are asked, and they do, as soon as they come in, they know the drill even, because you have to sign in at every location. So you put your name, where you're from, how you heard about us, and then I think number of people in your party. Are you staying overnight? I mean, it's a long piece of paper. So each location keeps up with that. And then when we do our meeting after the tour, they turn them in so that then we go through and count each one. We do not count the same parties twice. So if you were to go to 15 different locations, you'd be counted once. Because there's people that'll go to my studio that won't go to Jackie's studio, but then there's people that'll go specifically for Jackie's art that won't come to my studio, and vice versa. So this last year, the count from my studio that people came into, which was overwhelming because it was pouring down rain half of the weekend, were over 500 people that came in. And did you have that many this year?
Saturday way, I think we have about 300 on Saturday. Sunday was lower.
Lower, yeah. But it's pretty interesting. And this year, or this last year, 2023, the majority of the people that came to my studio were from Santa Fe, New Mexico. The year before, they were from Texas. And, it's interesting how they come from different places. But so we keep up with that. We've got, solid proof how many people come through and all the questions that you need for demographics that go into lodgers tax reports on that.
Have y'all gotten lodgers tax money in the past?
Do what?
Have you gotten lodgers tax?
Every year that we put it on, except for the years that they weren't given it, yes.
Okay.
Mhm. We also have funding, operational funding, from the New Mexico Arts. This is specifically just for this event. It's not for operating. Because the money we get grants from the arts goes for our operating expenses, not for our events.
Do the participants pay an entry fee or anything?
Yes.
Okay, how much are you getting from them?
Each artist pays $40. If it's just one person in a studio, if it's a double studio, and you know what, I brought the application for Abba Tamale if you wanted to see it, but I forgot this one. It goes up to, if you're showing in a business, like if people don't want that many people at their home studios, then we get businesses to sponsor, and so to be in a business, you pay 40 plus the business pays 80 to sponsor. And so, you know, that's how we make our money on that. It's most of our events, the nonprofits here in Angel Fire don't put events on to make money. They put events on for people to come into Angel Fire and for the vendors. Like at Alba Tamale, the vendors, we want them to make money. And for the studio art tour, we want the artists to make the money. Yeah, but they do have to be registered. They have to have a business permit. You've got to have your CRS. You have to pay the taxes on it, you know, from your individual sales. But
And what have you gotten each year? How much is this? You're asking for $12,000. So how does that compare to?
we've gotten $10,000 before because that was the limit.
Okay.
And we were told there wasn't a limit this year, so you don't want to get greedy, but 12, if you look at 12, that's half of our advertising budget. And so we felt like that was fair.
And this might be also a question for Greg, like how much of some of this advertising could we do just with you trying to advertise, or would that just be in addition to?
That's in addition.
I've gotten some
Yeah.
direction from the mayor and council on events moving forward. On advertising versus operation. And the feeling that I got from the council was that they'd rather see us put the money into the event and the operation of the events to see the event successful and sustainable. And put our grant money into that, and then we, as the Visitors Bureau, who has an ad budget, includes that event in our advertising, and we step up the promotions of it. So make sure that our brands on everything and everything else, so that the challenge is that the council wants us to step up and help with the marketing of these events. Right now, I'm without an agency to help market these events in as effective manner as I would like. But that's the direction I've received moving forward, that we should look at funding the operation, the cost of these events, helping them out wherever we can to offset their costs for fire, police, rentals, whatever else they're looking at, their operational logistics costs. How can we offset some of those things? And then use our lodgers tax dollars to promote their events. Take the burden of marketing their events out of the promoter's hand, give them money to help support their events, and then really step up the marketing of it.
And in this case, given it may be a little more of a challenge.
In this case, I think you sort of have to hybrid it and rely on the marketing that the existing promoters do and how they've done it before. Step up what we can do on our end, but keep the grant money there to sustain the events. And look at it when we get back on our feet and we've got our big brand going and our website's up and everything's tracking great and social media is humming along. We can do great to help market these events. Right now, we need help marketing these events from the event producers.
And with our advertising expenses and marketing, that's why I showed you like this brochure. It costs $5,000 to put that out. And that wouldn't be something that the village would be able to do for an individual event that they're not sponsoring. And we put in, you know, we've got ads in art tours, magazines specific to art groups. Also, that might not be efficient for the village to spend extra money on.
But if our lodgers tax are going there, then someone's gonna obviously put our logo in there and so forth. And, you know,
Oh, yeah, anything we.
That's part of the
we have to do
process.
that, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if we can get things rolling, then maybe going forward, it would be more art world specific advertising and brochures and things and like general.
Yeah, in the future, we should actually take over the production of the magazines, things like we do the program for Balloons Over Angel Fire. Those should be done by our professional staff to help the event promoters. But right now, the event promoters may have a better handle on it than we do, so.
Is there any advertising that you will be able to do on our tourism website, or is that frozen right now?
No, well,
No,
it's
still got that stuff.
it's up, but it's, let's just say it's stagnant right now.
Okay, so you won't be able to
In the next-
advertise.
In the next couple of weeks, you'll see it start to come back to life with some, we will be operating it internally.
So you will promote events like this?
Yeah, we'll get it on social media, we'll get those things going, yes.
The lodger's tax, when you award out, you to an event, the way it's written, is the reason they want municipalities to give to events. You know, then we're the ones that do the specifics, like even the brochures, since we're the ones sponsoring the event. It's our responsibility to ask for awards and grant monies to do that with. Yeah, and signage, I mean, all of it that goes with it, yeah. But we did, the 12 was because it was about half of our advertising budget. Yeah, I mean, we go more.
Where do you distribute these?
They're distributed all over northern New Mexico, northern Texas, southern Colorado, Arizona on this, anything that touches us up here. And then it goes down to wherever GoDaddy goes to distribute. And then we give them out in the houses. Every artist gets a stack to hand out to everybody, because every participant has to have that to be able to get to the houses.
And what's the target? Do they, you send them to other chamber of commerce surrounding, or are they?
We take them to other visitor centers, other chambers, other art centers, and now there's several hotels in Santa Fe. Mhm.
So I've also discovered that the people keep these things and they'll come back in the fall or at Christmas and they have the booklet in their hand.
And where's this artist?
Yes.
We're like, that's her home. You might better call. Yeah.
Unless they're gonna buy something.
Yeah, that's why we tell them to call her.
Does anybody else have questions? Nope. I would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve this $12,000 application for the art studio tour.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And,
Oh, and if anybody wants to